How do you feel about SGA? His season's been weird to me because I think he's played well.
I think he's a top 5 player in the league.
Unbelievable player.
Right, but like, there's some things that say he's had like some of the best season of all time.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it is potential spam call coming in right at the start. Pretty good start.
I don't know how to stop those.
I never get those. Wednesday, June 11th, 2025, years after zero, episode 58 of the press conference, talking NBA.
The Middle East all the time whenever you answer.
Does seem to, I don't ever get like a person that talks or seems like they look like me.
Hey, how you doing today?
Uh-huh.
It's always like, first of all, most of the time I answer, they just immediately start speaking Spanish. And I'm like, that can't be for me.
Spanish?
Yeah.
Are you being serious?
The last 4 times I've answered, there's, and I was like, this can't be for me. This can't be for me. First of all, they're not even good at like spam calling and trying to finesse you because you answer and they're not ready. Like 10 seconds.
I don't think they think people are going to answer though. That's why.
Like I answer and I'm like, hello, 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 and then they're like, oh, you done with the and then I'm like, all right. I mean, really? I waited fucking 8 seconds for that.
Do you get those very often?
I only answer when
I don't get them that much. This is the first one. They're leaving a voicemail, so I'm actually not sure if this is spam.
I think what they do is that they're calling from some main number and they're able to use a number that looks like it's a local call and everything, so that's why it's that delay.
It typically looks like your number.
Oh, number, yeah. I'll start with your first 3 digits or something like that.
Say your number's 888-8888. It'll be like 888-8887.
Is that real?
Like, yeah.
Is that psychologically they think you're going to answer because it's like, oh, that's my number?
Yeah, that's the weird part. It's like, why would you be calling you? But there you go.
They didn't leave a voicemail, but regardless. Episode 58, we're going to talk some NBA. There's something else I wanted to bring up, but I can't remember now. Game 3 is tonight, as it is Wednesday, June 11th.
Maybe the French Open?
For the 3rd time. No, we do it in parts, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought you... my bad.
Game 3 tonight, first game in Indiana. 5.5 point spread.
I thought it'd be bigger than that. That's what she said.
Basically a 5 point. They're giving home court 5 points.
What would you do if you pulled out your wiener and a girl just looked at you and went,
Like made that noise? I'd probably be like, yeah, that's probably fair.
That's a fair assessment of what I've got going on.
But on the flip side, though.
Pull out your vagina.
Not, well, that, but I was going to say, my first thing would be, if you were waiting for that, you could have just asked like a long time ago. Like you went out all night and you came to my house and you were like, I'm going to determine whether or not I continue this when he takes his pants off. I figured you would have figured that out much prior to this.
Yeah, she just pantses you right away.
Right, or is at least like, let's be realistic. Do you think you've got what it takes to pleasure me later?
And I'm going to be honest, it's going to take at least 7.5 to 8 inches. And I would go, well, then you have a good night.
Right, well, maybe that 6'4" guy over there can help you out.
Right, something like that.
Anyway, what you went from was you thought the spread wasn't going to be that high to that.
I know a short man with a giant penis. I think he's shorter than me.
How do you know this?
Word of mouth.
So you don't know.
I guess that's true. I don't know.
This is a bad comment by you, by the way.
Sorry.
Anyway, any thoughts on tonight of the series so far? I figured after the Pacers won Game 1, which I didn't think was going to happen, it kind of went Game 2 exactly how you would have figured.
Yeah, maybe cut what I said out. But, yeah, I thought Game 1, after how that went, Game 2 was going to be a blowout. Game 3, I do think the Pacers win.
You think they win tonight?
You know, these series, teams tend to play the same ways, like, and bring the same type of game, bring the same type of series to each series, okay? So in the Knicks series, they were down, I believe, in both the first 2 games, and they came back and won.
Yeah.
And then, Game 3, they lost, they got fucking smoked. Right?
Mm-hmm.
It's similar to what's going on now. But then I believe Game 4, they just whooped the Knicks. It wasn't like we came back. It was like, we beat you this game.
Mm-hmm.
They need to have one of these games. They need to have one of those games in Game 3 or 4 where it's like, we can beat you. We can beat you in 4 quarters. We're not just going to beat you in the last 6 minutes like we did the Knicks and you for Game 1 and shit like that. Like, the comebacks, and I think I saw something where they have the most, like, comebacks in a single playoffs from 15-plus points down, something of that nature, and from this much down and from that, and Tyrese Haliburton's hit more game-tying or go-ahead shots in the last 5 seconds than like anyone has in a playoff run. They've done crazy shit that's like, wow. But they do have to put together one game, at least one, maybe even 2 games where it's like, we're better than you.
I don't know if it would be...
Tonight.
That would be a good game, a good thing to establish. I don't think they are
Capable
able to
of
do that just because the Thunder are so good. I think more than likely what happens is the Thunder just shoot so badly, and the Pacers shoot so well that by halftime it's like 20-point game, and then at the end of the third quarter it's like, okay, the Thunder could still come back, but like it's just not their night.
Yeah, I was talking with someone at the barbershop about this series, and I was like, I think the Pacers could do this, and they were like, Thunder do it in no more than 5. And I was like, I said the Pacers can fucking score. They're defense is here and there. Miles Turner can block some shots. This guy can play some D, whatever. But like, there's gonna be a night where the Thunder better hope they're on because the Pacers will be on and they will finish the 4 quarters.
It seems to be at home a lot that happens.
Yeah, they'll finish with near 120, so the Thunder better finish with close to that or more.
And I think that's the Thunder. I do think I have 2 things to say. The Thunder, I think, are very good all-around team. Even like Caruso, Holmgren, all this shit.
They have like Shai, Dort, Williams, Holmgren, and then you go into those other guys like Hartenstein, Caruso.
The other
Jalen Williams. I know I'm missing a couple.
There's 1 or 2 people that are pretty important to them.
And you're like, yeah, they do have like a good 9 dudes.
Right. But the flip side of that, what I was going to say was, I think that those type of guys on the road especially tend to, the Thunder too specifically, they haven't covered the spread on a road game the whole playoffs. So they don't do
like
well
it
on the road.
When it's 5.5 and you haven't covered, that means it's going to be either a really tight win or a loss.
And I do think that it goes back to Oklahoma City too. But what I was going to say was with Boston last year, we said, because we obviously watched the games, like that Pacer team was not a slouch. Like that was a 4-0.
And they were missing Tyrese Haliburton.
That was a 4-0, but like it easily could have been 2-2. That
it was weird.
3-1 them.
It was weird because I believe Boston beat the Heat like 4-2. They beat they beat the Cavs 4-2, right?
4-1. And I think we lost 2-3 playoff games the whole playoffs.
Yeah, we only had 2 losses going to the finals, so if we would have not lost in the finals, we would have had like one of the late people to have 2.
16-3, I didn't know that. Yeah. I mean, that's insane.
But
you remember, it was like the Heat were missing like Jimmy Butler, right?
They were missing Butler.
Donovan Mitchell got hurt after game 2.
Game 1 or 2.
Yeah, after the game they won or whatever. And then Tyrese Haliburton was missing. But it was like, we lost games in all the 3 other series, but the closest series was the Pacers series.
100%.
Every game except for one was like really fucking tight.
And we were down by 20 twice.
They should have won the first game, and then JB hit a clutch shot, extended over. All these things, like the Pacers could have won 2 or 3 games in that series. That could have easily been 3-1, and it was 4-0.
Right.
And they were missing, in my opinion, their best or second best player. Best all-around player, but Siakam, I think, is great.
What do you think of the whole superstar thing with him that's going on?
For Tyrese?
Yeah. Is he a superstar?
I think to be a superstar, you do have to kind of have the stats a little bit more. Like, he's not a high 20s.
Superstar is everything to me. You have to have it all. You have to be Steph Curry, where it's like, you have the numbers, you have the MVP candidacy, you have the flash, the flair. Maybe that's not as important. Like Kawhi's still a superstar to me, right? But also you have the rings. You could win. You could put it together to win. Like Tyrese, only thing he has is like he's efficient and he puts it together to win. He doesn't have the numbers and like the superstardom.
I would say he's below superstar.
He's an all-star. He's a star.
Hamstring injury, he was on his way to superstardom, and that seemed to really hinder him because it was like every day you look, he had
25
and 15 and no turnovers. It's like, oh, this is the best point guard in the league. And then he hurt his hamstring, and it's like, oh, he doesn't know how to shoot anymore either.
Had a hamstring fucks with people, man.
That's what I said when it happened to Harden. I was like, these injuries fuck you.
Especially in football.
Say this team more as they have all-stars and Tyrese and Siakam, but they just have a perfect team that gels together as well, like a Nesmith who's just 3-and-D, high energy.
The best shooter on the planet.
Yeah. Miles Turner can play defense. He can shoot the outside. He can score in the paint.
Rick Carlisle's a great coach.
Rick Carlisle's a great coach. Nembhard is apparently the greatest player ever when it comes to playoff time. Like,
it's interesting with players how the league works, man, because like Nesmith has a big role on a big team and plays well in big games and all those things, but then you're like, why'd the Celtics let him go? Like, he had it coming out of high school, college, he shot like over 50% from 3. He had all these things, and when you saw him in games in his rookie year or second year, you were like, he just needs the opportunity.
Yeah.
Give him some opportunity. We said that about a lot of Celtics players where it's like, who's the kid that just won G League player MVP? J.D. Davidson.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, give them some opportunity. You know, they had Tremont Waters, Carson Edwards, all these guys are like, I want to see them. Like, I feel like Hauser got more opportunity, and he's like, see, he's a good 3-and-D player.
Peyton Pritchard
got it, and look what he is. But then you look at the Celtics team and you go, okay, let's say we gave him the opportunity. What would he be? Because he wouldn't be a starting 5 guy with Derek White, Drew Holiday, JB, JT, KP. He wouldn't be the 6th man with Peyton Pritchard or Al Horford. And then like he's kind of competing for the 8th spot with like Hauser for the shooter role. And honestly, you probably prefer. I mean, he could shoot more off the dribble and like coming off to his left, coming off to his right. But Hauser's probably more efficient, just stand still, scrap.
For what you need to.
And he's also got some size. And it's kind of like, and that's like what you want more out of your 8th man.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
And
So Grant lost his role because he was supposed to be a 3-and-D guy, and then he wanted to be an all-around scorer. It's like, that's not what we're here for. Get in the corner and shoot the 3.
So I'm saying, like, it's just weird how sometimes a move can be better for both teams, where it's like, we can't use you, they can, trust me, you know?
And also, you're going to command money that we don't want to pay you to play.
Our 8th man.
And that year we traded him for Malcolm Brogdon, who won 6th man of the year that year, and he was healthy until the final, literally until the finals.
There's been a lot of players in these last, since we'll say JB got drafted, where it's like you'll forget and you're like, man, that guy was so good and he played such a vital role for the team. But that one, it all came together. Everybody moved and this and that to bring like the perfect championship team together. Really,
I think that's the thing is the Pacers can use Neesmith starting because they were like, it's championship or bust. We can develop they just developed faster than you could ever see. The Celtics, it was like, okay, we've been in the championship in the conference finals how many years? We have to make a move that gets us at least one ring.
Yeah, which is good.
Because OKC doesn't ring this year. Every other team's going to stock up this year. It's like everybody now OKC and Boston's window might be closed.
Yeah, well,
OKC's window is not closing anytime soon.
The only reason
contracts are coming up.
Yeah, that's when it's going to kill them.
They have so many draft picks and they have so many things. And
yeah, they're like perfectly set up.
And but when it comes to contracts, the NBA seems to be easier to keep teams together just because there's only 12 players and there's such a high salary cap and all these things. Like we were talking about it when we went to watch the game Sunday, the Portugal game. They're like, I mean, the Lakers, you were like, you could say the same thing there, but they have 6 guys or 7 guys that make at least $10 million and they have 2 guys that make over $45 million a year.
Right.
So it's like you can pay, let's say you're paying SGA for $60 million and you're paying Chet whatever you're paying him.
It kind of sucks.
Outside of that, like, and he's kind of like but outside of SGA on the team, it's weird because the team's all around, but who deserves $40 million on that team?
Was it Paul George deserve $40 million?
That's what I'm saying. They might get it.
The Detroit Pistons will give Lou Dort or Jalen Williams a max contract.
Right. They gave Tobias Harris one at 35.
Exactly.
But I feel like when you've won it, when you like those guys get it, like Tobias Harris, right? Where he's like, I haven't won anything. I'm 30 years old. I'll go take that contract. Same with Paul George. When you've sat here with this team, like we can win. I feel like Lou Dort, if he gets the $45 million offer, he's like, OKC offers him 30. He'll be like, I'll take the 30 to stay here and win.
I think it's dependent on the person.
Yeah. Because it's like Jalen Brunson took, what, $100 million pay cut just to be able to sign more players or something like that this offseason. It's like, you think, like JT and JB, it's like, why don't you take $10 million each year cut?
I just look at, like, the Warriors. Like, oh, you could say, well, their window's closing. How long did they stay together? Draymond, Clay, and Steph, primarily, with other great role players. Like, though, again, and Steph is the highest paid player in the league, so it's like I think it's pretty easy.
Our issue is we have 4 guys who get paid.
Celtics.
Yeah.
Well, he said they'd be willing to KP if he went from $30 million to $15 million. It's like,
right. Who's
yeah,
gonna do that?
Yeah, exactly. Especially for him when he's like, I
don't
know if I'm ever playing again.
And my health, like, it's not like I'm gonna go somewhere and be like, I have 10 more years with me. It's like, would you rather give $30 million for 3 years or 15, and it could be 3 years, and now what?
Yeah.
You've lost $45 million total, 15 a year, to stay here and.
But like I said, outside of SGA, like JT, you're like he's gonna make $60 million. Who outside of him who can make 50? It's like JB. All right, outside of him who can make 30? Derek White, Drew Holiday, probably even KP, maybe even Pritchard. He's 6th man of the year. And it's like, but when you think about the OKC, who would make $40 million outside of SGA? If we're being realistic, no one should be making that.
No, right.
And then it's like, who should make 30? It's like, okay, maybe Jalen or Dort or Chet, maybe. And then outside of that, who should make 20? It's nobody.
Somebody will pay Chet $40 million.
The problem is
he has
some
because
team
he's got potential, but like
the problem is some team will do that, and if the guy's more motivated by like I want to take care of my family and I've already won a ring, like I would say it on the flip side where you're like, oh, they won a ring here. It's like, yeah, I'm a champion, so.
What's like with the windows? Like
now I might as well get paid.
Everybody thought the Nuggets were going to be a dynasty, and then Boston strapped up. They lost a few players, and it's like they haven't been able to get that cohesion again.
Yeah, with JT, they said that it's possible he comes back next season. I think it really, for me, if I was Mazzulla, Stevens, and Tatum, if we next year still for some reason have Derek White and KP, probably not Drew or KP, but if we're like, imagine if we get the 3 seed and he's okay to come back, probably come back. But if
Yeah.
it's like, well, we got rid of KP, Andrew,
We're in the play-in.
we're in the play-in, and we get in, and JT, it's like, I mean, I could probably come back and play. And it's like, but we only have those two guys. Like, I'm trying to think of who else. It's hard to say who we would have.
Yeah.
Like Valanciunas and some random fucking third or fourth person. It's like, I mean, my point is I don't think we should rush him back or bring him back too early unless it's like, hey, we actually have a realistic chance of winning a championship. But then again, I don't think people think they don't have a realistic chance of winning a championship.
No, 100%. I
It's
don't
like,
think
well,
they,
what do you mean? We're in the playoffs. You might as well come back. It's
and
like,
JT's
yeah.
coming back. It's like, who cares? Like, look at the Heat with Jimmy Butler when he would come back and they'd be in the play-in. It's like they make it to the finals.
Right.
You know what I have a real problem with? We were talking about this, me and Dre at work. What do you think? What do you think the top game one was close, right? I mean, they had a big lead and whatnot, but
The Thunder and Pacers.
right.
Okay.
Who played the most minutes were Tyrese Haliburton and Siakam. How many minutes did they play in game one?
38.
There's 48 minutes in a game.
Probably 41.
39 and 35.
That's ridiculous.
What about SGA and Lou Dort, who played the most minutes on Thunder?
Probably 39 and 37.
40 and 36.
That's ridiculous.
What do you need 8 minutes? Like, you should be playing 45 plus.
I would say
What we were talking about at work more so is just, it's so weird to me now that dudes take 10, 15, 20 games off in the regular season. They only play 35 minutes. They're not in the 35 minutes compared to what it was in the 2000s, 90s, 80s, and whatnot. And so is like, that's not as physical. You're pulling up, shooting a lot of threes. No one really gives a fuck about defense. You know, try to score 140 and win tonight.
you get to miss.
But more people are getting injured, and then when it comes to the finals and shit, they're like, "Oh, I need my rest." It's like, I mean, guys used to play 82 games at 40 minutes a clip. Like AI used to play like over 40 minutes a clip for 82 games, and then play 48 minutes in every fucking game in the playoffs.
Right.
So I actually saw this the other day and I had to double check it. So the 2001 NBA Finals Game 1 went to overtime. Lakers, Sixers. So 48 minutes. And
Plus
there's
5.
Plus 5, right?
53 minutes.
53 minutes.
When was your last haircut?
Like 2 weeks ago.
All right.
That's the fucking question.
You have another one scheduled?
No.
Call.
Grizzly Adams.
Yeah.
Continue. I apologize.
Have another airhead. So 53 minutes.
Roush.
How many minutes do you think Allen Iverson played?
40. Wait, they went to
53
overtime. I would say 51.
52, 57.
Huh?
52 minutes and 57 seconds.
So he sat for 3 seconds.
Right. Which that's what I was gonna say.
There was 3 seconds left in half, and they were like, "I guess get him."
And they were on defense.
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking.
Aaron McKee played 50 minutes and 57 seconds because Aaron McKee's. And then Kobe Bryant played 52 minutes and 5 seconds. Shaq, who people say is Shai, played 51 minutes and 45 seconds.
Game. That was constant.
I would say what I would do is, let's say at the end
Shaq
of
played how many?
51 minutes.
So Shaq, his size and his shape and his everything is playing 51 minutes, but SGA is only playing 40, or Tyrese Haliburton's only playing 39, or Lou Dort's only playing 36.
I don't. Is there a competitive difference? Because for me,
I think so.
I would want to be out there.
JJ Redick claims because of the pace, it's more wear and tiring for the players, so they need more rest this
But
day
you're
and age.
here. It doesn't
I
matter
think there's
how
an
tired it
argument
is.
both ways, though. Like the fight in the paint is more tiring than going back and forth and shooting up the three.
Physicality.
The physicality is more tiring, and like the wear and tear of a season is more tiring than.
And also, you can adjust that. You don't have to. These games, the deeper you get in the playoffs, the lower scoring the games are, which means there's less possessions, which means the pace is slowing down. So that's not a very good argument because.
Yeah, in the regular season, you're playing a little bit more free, and you're kind of like, I'm experimenting. In the
I don't
playoffs,
really
you're,
have a
tighten up.
problem with like the Celtics shooting 53s in a regular season game because it's like, dude, we're just pulling up. No one's getting hurt. We're shooting threes. We're a good 3-point shooting team. We're getting our guys hot from 3. We're doing all these things. But then when it gets to the playoffs and you're doing the same thing, it's like you're playing this like it's a fucking scrimmage. You're playing it like it's game 38 of the regular season. This is fucking the playoffs.
We haven't done a podcast since then, but literally what I said at the end of game 1 and 2 after we blew both those games is you could literally, referencing a golf term, you could, when we were up 20 with 8 minutes left, you could just make bogeys. Literally bogeys. Every other or every third possession, you get a layup, and it's like they can't chop into this lead like they are. Like this, I think it was game 2, we missed like 14 straight shots in the fourth quarter, and 12 were threes, and it's like, why You're up by 20.
You were up by 20 plus at halftime, and you shot 20 shots in the third quarter, and 19 were threes.
Right. Like, what are you guys doing? Like, that to me is where...
That's when you slow the game down. You get in your half-court offense. You try to hit mid-ranges. You try to get in the paint.
Yeah.
You try to draw fouls. You try to
the
get
guy
in the free
who's
throw line.
6'10".
They're pulling threes up at 20 seconds
You
on the
want to
clock.
limit
With the time of
possessions.
shooting,
You
too.
want to limit the possessions for both teams. That favors a team that's up by 25.
And it wasn't driving. I could totally see if it was driving kicks and...
Like, they're all collapsing, and everyone's wide open.
But it was Derek White walking up and just pulling up. First pass when someone's in the corner, I like the confidence of him shooting those contested threes in the corner because he does hit a lot of them, so you can't hate it when it doesn't work. But it's like, but you have to understand the situation too.
You can hate it when it doesn't work and do love it when it does work because it's like it's more about timing. I hate it when you're taking that three with 19 on the shot clock, up by 20 in the third quarter, or with 19 on the shot clock, down by 2 or 3 with 4 minutes left, in the fourth. Like,
only way that should be happening is if there's not someone within. I would make a rule if there's someone not within 5 to 10 feet of you. That's okay because you are an NBA player. You are wide open.
dude, I want to say it was Aaron Nesmith. He caught a wide open three on like the wing. He got it, had it wide open, and the lane was wide open. And he drove it to the lane and like laid it up or something. And I was like, I haven't seen that since like 2008.
It feels like that.
That's probably their best 3-point shooter. Like just true. That's who you want wide open on the wing with the wide open three. And he was like, oh, I got it wide open too.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, that is
People
beautiful.
say that's a bad shot because a three's more than 2. It's like, well, 2's more than 0.
JT had one in the corner where he caught one in the corner and he was open. The guy like started to step towards him and Horford was under the basket and it was when we were up. He ended up missing and we ended up losing the game. But he had one wide open and he took the three and I'm like, you have a 2-on-1 basically where you're going to go up. You could just attack the rack and fire the ball off the backboard and Horford has a putback dunk. You could go there and throw up a lob, bounce pass, a layup. You could take 2 steps in and 1 step to the left and bank a shot at like anything else besides taking a three when you've missed the most in the history of the NBA through the first 2 games of a series. Like, I don't know if it's stubbornness or if it's like, well, it's got to regress positively back to the mean. And it's like, but it doesn't. I just get through the game. Like I said, you can par and bogey your way through the rest of the game, and it's a whole different season.
My issue was when there's like, well, the shots just weren't falling. It's like, why not put in some other guys then to see if their shots fall?
Right. There was no adjustment. It wasn't other people. It wasn't change the...
Derek White's 0 for 12 from 3 that game. Hey, bud, it's just not your game. Let me put Torrey Craig or Baylor Shireman in there, and it's like, I don't even need them to shoot 50% from 3 if they can go 4 for 12.
Not 0 for 12.
Yeah.
Steph just blew the game because now like dudes are like just throwing up threes when they're shooting 34%. Like that. I remember when Rondo was like, he's like, dudes shoot worse than me shooting threes. So I was like, fuck it, I'll shoot too. You know what I mean? He's like, fuck it, I'm shooting it too.
I think
like, that's not how I was taught in the early. He was like in the 2000s, late 2000s. It's not if you can't shoot, don't fucking.
If you
shoot.
had a 3-on-1 in the 2000s and you took a 3, you probably would not play for the.
That's another
if I could go
episode
back,
of Kobe on Detail. He stops that. Remember, he stops the thing and he
goes
goes
like, "This is ridiculous."
He goes, "You know what happened here? If I passed it out to the corner, I would get benched."
But then that's like I don't know what because Tom Brady said it about quarterbacks, like they're not taught anymore how to read defenses and do this. They're just like, oh, you have this skill, let's go and try to just do this. And it's like, well, how about we try to like figure out how we're going to win the game, not figure out what the math tells us or what your skill set tells us is best for us.
I think LeBron's doing it now. Draymond was talking about it. Some other players were talking about how like basketball now has become it used to be a poor person's game where you grab a ball, you play pickup, and you learn how to play. Now it's a rich person's game where it's like you hire a trainer and he teaches you all these dribbling drills and all this type of shit like that. It's like, well, you guys, first of all, you ruined it because that's what we see you guys doing. I saw Kobe playing at the Drew League and the Rucker and James Harden and them just show up and play basketball. KD and everything like that.
Legend over there.
And then also Calipari says the same thing. He's like, when I recruit a guy, it's like, here's he is on these one-on-one drills, and I put him in 5-on-5 drills, and they're all one-on-one players.
That's what I mean.
It's like, so you don't know how to play a role.
It's not a like,
you don't know how to set a pick.
says it's a system, but it's more like just jacking up threes.
You can't just say shoot a three
It's
at
a
all
system.
times.
It is a system. Because to me, in the playoffs, the triangle offense is the best offense that you can
Slow
run.
the game down.
Like, put KP or Al in the block, and you pass it down to him, and it's like, who's... With these centers nowadays, and Al Horford, used to be an original type of center. Who's stopping him in the block?
No, they couldn't.
Someone needs to invent a time machine, go back to 2012, and shoot Steph Curry in the head.
Yeah, I'll be the one to do it.
And Klay Thompson, if you could make it over there.
I want to real quick before I move on. I was listening to these Celtics people talking about blame and this, that, or the other, like a pie. Like a pie, like 50% this, 20% this. I legitimately think like 75% of the reason the Celtics lost was just injuries at bad times. Like, KP literally didn't even look like he knew how to play basketball. If he was normal, we'd probably win that series.
JB didn't dunk like once.
He just had surgery today.
Yeah.
Obviously, Jason Tatum blew his Achilles off of his
That's
fucking
not good.
heel. But my main thing so the rest stuff and people not playing, Danny made a good point earlier. The last 10, 15 games when JB had this going on, why did he play one of those games?
But also, I feel like they said the wear and tear. I feel like the reason why guys like Michael Jordan only missed fucking 6 games in his career outside of like a season that he missed for an ankle or something like of that nature is because he's used to it. He's used to playing 45 minutes of hard-nosed basketball, 82 games a year, and playoffs come around. It's like, this is the same fucking game. That's what we're playing all year. Like, and these guys were drinking and smoking cigars in the locker room. These guys are getting like 3 massages before and after and stretching and knowing all this scientific and analytic, like, this is how you take care of your body, put this much money into it, all this, whatever. These guys were just like, stretch a little, go out there and play, and then you go hard and come back the next day.
Have you ever seen that?
You're a little hurt, play again.
I think it's a story. I think it's on the Nuggets. AI gets to the Nuggets, and Dante Jones and whoever are like, we're going to work out this summer. And AI is like, yeah. And he's like, well, first let's go to the club. AI doesn't show up for training. He's like, this is off season, so it doesn't really matter. Next night, he's like, come out with me. Doesn't show up. He goes, then training camp starts. This guy shows up, full practice, full sprint the whole time, dripping sweat, schooling everybody. He's like, he could just show up and do that type of shit. But then Kenya Martin was saying, he's like, these guys, they play basketball, but they don't play hard in the off season because they want to rest their bodies. And he's like, when your training camp is half-assed, like you're not doing 2-a-days, when you have to gear it up for the season, your hamstrings are going to pop.
No, exactly.
He goes, and then KG said about Zion, he's like, put him out there to play. How can you know his body's ready if you're not putting him out there to see what it is and everything like that?
But that's too. You either did it or you didn't do it.
It's gone to a point now, too, even where like the fucking coaching staff and all this has got it all twisted. Because Zion was like, if it was up to me, I'd be playing today. I feel ready to play. They're not like he was like, I'm on a no back-to-backs minute limit. I feel good to play. I'm telling you, like he was like, I don't know what you want me to do.
What you have, like the greatest of this generation is Kobe Bryant, and what did he do regardless of if he was hurt? He played through it. It's like, and it's like his body. They could say like he took care of his body. He'd wake up early. He'd work out. He might have overworked his body, but it's like clearly he didn't because he still made it 18 seasons in the league. You refer
to like the Achilles injury, or you refer to he's always banged up with broken fingers and high ankle sprains and this and that. It's like, well, he has 5 rings, so why don't you shut the fuck up?
Yeah, I would say getting 5 rings out of a 20-year career or whatever it is pretty solid.
But the thing I wanted to wrap back to, if I was the Pacers specifically, because they are the worst team in this, now it's time to shorten your bench, play 6, 7 guys, and what you do is, if it's the end of the quarter and you foul SGA or something and you're shooting 2 free throws with 8 seconds left in the quarter, take Haliburton and Siakam out. That's their rest. You have 8 seconds now and you have a 3-minute timeout, and you're going to have 3 or 4 timeouts during the quarter.
You have a 15-minute halftime.
But even during the quarters, they're going to go to 3 or 4 commercials. That's 2 minutes. So, like, you're technically getting 8 minutes of rest during that, during all those timeouts. I'm not saying I'm in the greatest shape of all time, but if you're playing for a championship, you would think that would be enough.
Well, that's what...
Like, 45 minutes a game is the minimum Tyrese Haliburton should play tonight, and should have been playing the whole finals, but...
That's what I'm sure it's for other greats, too, but like Kobe Bryant's teammates said, they're like, he made practice miserable.
Yeah.
Like,
so did Tom Brady.
And then Luke Walton said he showed up hungover. He goes, everybody said nobody else has him but me and him. Like Kobe, he's like, Kobe just whooped my ass the entire practice because I was unprofessional. But also he's like, if your practice,
Luke Walton sucked. That's why. Though.
Yeah, it's like exactly. But he's like, you're still a role
but
player
when
on
you're
this
on
team.
my team, that's not going to fly. I'm just saying in general though, like.
But he's saying he's like Kobe Bryant. I think it was the Italian guy that played with Kobe, he won both the last back-to-back with him. He was off the bench, long hair, always had the headband. No,
Vucevic.
Sasha Vujacic.
Kobe's mindset was, I'm gonna make practice the hardest thing you have to do in the world because when we're in Game 7 and you're tired, you're gonna be like, I made through worse than this.
Right.
He's like, I don't
like how that doesn't make sense to do.
That's what like every type of training is. It's what you lift weights for. That's what you train in a UFC fight or a boxing match for. You really train for 3 matches. You really run 2 marathons before you run the marathon. You really do, you always train harder than you go out there and perform, so that way the performance is a bit easier. I was watching a Joe Rogan podcast, and this guy I
once saw him talk to a man who claimed he climbed 5 mountains
like a
once.
super marathon or something, and it's essentially, remember the movie 300, if you'll remember this. This guy has to deliver, I've never seen the fucking movie, But if this guy has to deliver a message and he has to run from one city all the way to another city to deliver it, and the 300 Spartans fight off these fucking people to protect him from doing that, okay? He goes and does it, whatever. Pretty important piece of history right there. They say if he doesn't get that message there, modern society wouldn't exist. That's a whole nother point. He ran like 157 miles straight. Mm-hmm. So now there's like a super marathon that does that location to that location, and you run the 157 miles. And they do it in the time that he was like, whatever, did it, and it's like 33 hours, and you run it straight. And he said to get to 33 hours, you have to be running the whole time.
Yeah.
Isn't that fucking insane?
That is pretty wild.
And they were like, how do your body do that? And he was like, it's all mental. He was like,
Have you seen those old Mike Tyson interviews? So before in boxing, they didn't have round limits.
Yeah, they just kept going.
It was till you finished.
Yeah.
And Mike Tyson was saying when he was obviously when he was at his peak at 18. Mike Tyson's prime was 12 through 36, let's just say. But he was saying when he was early in his career, just won the championship. He goes, I could fight 100 rounds. He said exactly that. He goes, it's all mental. He goes, if you don't believe you can do it, you won't be able to.
That's exactly what he said.
I know I could show up and fight 100 rounds and then go another 100 if I needed to.
He was like, I didn't know if I could do it, and I was kind of scared, and then I started doing it, and he was like, 10 miles before I gave up mentally. And then this guy was like, so I started whatever, and the guy was like, you're not going to finish. Like, whatever. And I was like, oh, come on, dude. He was like, I had already given up. And then the next time I completed it, I went in going, I'll fucking die before I don't finish this.
Right. Yeah, that's all in your head. Because your body's not going to shut down until your mind does, and then your body will go after you.
I just can't imagine, like...
Unless you have a catastrophic...
And this guy, you can run 157 miles if you want to do it.
That's my thing. It's like, I don't think there's anything with, like, physicality like that where I'm willing to die for.
No.
Where it's like...
There's some dude just broke the record or something, like a recorded whatever, like 300-something miles straight. Like 3 days.
Before we go to the next part, who do you have winning the series and in how many games?
Yeah, I guess that's important. I'm going to stick with my guns, what I said in that barbershop, and say I got the Pacers winning the series in 7.
I said Pacers in 6. I do feel like it's 6 or 7, but I'm still picking the Pacers. I'll say 7. I did say 6, but I got to switch it to 7 just because I think I was a little gung-ho on them.
How do you feel? Go ahead, Bill.
I'll say Pacers in 6, I think.
I don't like that we all picked the Pacers.
Nope, I'm going to go Thunder and rest of
But I also want them to win.
How do you feel about SGA? His season's been weird to me because I think he's played well.
I think he's a top 5 player in the league.
Unbelievable player.
Right, but like, there's some things that say he's had like some of the best season of all time.
Yeah, I agree.
He's had the 12th season where someone scored at least 3,000 points. And only 2 players have done it multiple times. Wilt 5 times, Michael Jordan 10 times.
Yeah.
Every other player's done it once on that list. He's one of them. He's the most recent one, obviously. And, I mean, he's averaging 30-something in the finals. He's doing this, he's doing that. But I think his defense is overrated.
Yeah.
And
I don't think he's an all-defensive player.
No.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean he's not having a great, like, you know.
I think when I compare him
to
other
a great
players,
season doesn't, but it's like...
When I compare him to other players, I find myself thinking there's some players better than him.
Like who?
Nikola Jokic, Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Those 2 are for sure better.
Jason Tatum.
Yes. Possibly.
Well, if you're honest, Jokic...
It's getting closer.
Jokic and Giannis is splitting hairs between the best player in the league.
Mm-hmm.
I would say, yeah, Tatum.
I feel like Tatum, just the way that, if you can't compare it any other way.
If Tatum had a better shot selection
compared to what SGA is doing, I mean, SGA scored more than 30 in each game, and he hasn't done the free throw thing really. It's been mid range. He's looked like he's been in the Tatum's first finals and the second finals. He looked like he was shitting his pants. This guy doesn't look like he's worried at all.
There's like weird players out there though, where I'm like, I know you can't do this, but I'm like, if you take SJ out and put this guy in there, like they're doing the same thing, if not better.
Who?
Stephen Curry.
Stephen Curry's a top 15 player of all time.
Right, but maybe also because he hasn't been the best.
This might sound weird to you, Donovan Mitchell.
Just because he's got dog in him, possibly.
And I think he's a better defender.
Here's the thing:
look at it. Put it's Steph's first finals. No, he's not doing it.
I guess that's true.
You can't say
at
Steph
his
Curry
age.
went at 2018.
But I'm talking about right now, today.
Well, yeah. But
you know what I mean? So that's what I'm saying. It's shit like that where I'm like, I find myself saying, I'd rather if I could take him off the Thunder and replace him with anyone, I would pick 5-6 guys.
If I put SGA on the Warriors, I think though they would probably win the first.
Here's the thing:
they would have won the second series. I know he got hurt, but
I think if he didn't get hurt, they would have won the second series.
What JT though is like in all his finals is he is the guy where it's like we're making sure he can't score, and still he led the team in points, rebounds, assists, steals.
That goes for SGA too, though.
And I agree, but also Tatum is is a small forward, power forward that was guarding the center to stop the lob threats and everything like
How
that.
about
So it's like
Brunson?
his defense was completely underrated because it was like you don't know what he's sacrificing to not guard on ball, to guard a center and stop the lob
I'm not
threat.
saying Tatum's not. I'm just saying in terms of you're watching the games, SGA is clear and far the best player on the Thunder. And if he's not going, they're not going. Tatum had games where he didn't go and we still won games.
Yeah, our
If
team's
SGA
better.
scores 15 points
Tatum's
tonight,
supporting
they will
cast
not,
is the best in the
they
league.
will not win if SGA scores 15 points in any game in this series. They will not win.
No, I agree.
If he shoots under 40%, they will not win.
I agree.
That's the thing, but either team, and not putting a player, if you take SGA off of the Thunder, they're not making the finals or
No.
beating the finals. If you take Tatum off the Celtics, they're not making the finals.
That's
or
what
winning
I'm
the
saying. But
finals.
if you replace both those guys with good players, they could still easily make the finals.
If you place like you throw a Giannis or a Jokic on there.
Not
or
even
shit
better
like that.
players than them.
Well, yeah, but that team's good. I mean, yeah, the Thunder are a good team.
My
I
problem
personally,
with
at this point in the career, wouldn't probably wouldn't put Kevin Durant above those guys. But if you replace those guys with Kevin Durant, they're still going to win the finals.
my problem with like a Brunson is I think he's too small.
That's what I mean. You don't realize that
And
SGA
like,
is 6'8",
when's the last
6'7".
time like a
6'6".
a
I
smaller
don't think so.
like because Steph's even 6'4", right?
6'3", 6'4".
Brunson's what 6', 6'1". It's like
Yeah.
Yeah,
that type of guard is not leading you to the championship, and he's a liability on defense. And this is in this day and age, you can't hide people on defense anymore. Like we tried with like the Sixers did with Iverson back in 2001.
he's 6'2", Steph.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. That
Thing is,
4
though,
inches
too, what's-
makes
what-
a lot of
what-
difference.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but with Steph too, who's shooting through like this league, it's like he changed the league. It's like no, he's the best shooter of all time. The league doesn't need to change because you guys aren't Steph Curry.
Because
Like-
no one's ever going to replicate him. I don't think anyone's going to be able to come off the dribble to their left, come off to the dribble to their right, stand still, shoot from 5 feet behind the line, shoot from corner, wing, top, sprinting around the court, have his stamina to do what he does off ball. Also, he's an underrated playmaker. He's a true point guard, and his passing is underrated and stuff. Also, have the ball handling and the finishing inside the arc that he does, and do everything I just mentioned at a 50, 40, 90 clip.
These guys are trying to either replicate Steph and Clay or James Harden.
But nobody has a Steph or a Clay.
And you guys aren't any of those three guys. Like what Harden did on those Rockets teams, like there's nobody in the league like these guys that think they should do the step backs and threes. Like you're not James Harden, and these guys that are Clay, where it's I could take 7 dribbles and only shoot threes and score 3. It's like you're not doing that. And to be Stephen Curry, where it's like
No one's ever doing that.
I can just pull from half court, get the green light
He
and
has
hit it.
2 big French bastards on him with Kevin Durant and LeBron James wide open in the
And shot
Olympics.
fade away three.
And shoots a turnaround off like the wrong shoulder in terms of just how it feels to me at least. Fires it up 20 feet higher than his normal jump shot would be. And like I was like, oh, well, I'm sure he's gonna hit it.
When Steph Curry shoots, you're like, this is going in.
Him or Kevin Durant, like if I guess Dame maybe too, but I'm saying like if that was like pretty much anybody else besides Dame or Steph Curry and Kevin
But
Durant.
the type
I'd be
of shot
like,
it
what
was,
the fuck?
The only other
Kevin Durant, I wouldn't love shooting that type of shot.
The only other
Kevin Durant's more of a standstill shooter. Even if he's coming up, pulling off the dribble, it's like he has to have his form in a set shot. He's not really shooting off balance like
Right. I'm only saying because of his height and like
Yeah,
Steph
he's the
Curry has
better
yeah, he's
player.
unblockable.
Steph Curry had no reason to shoot.
Steph
that
Curry has
shot.
no physical attributes that Kevin Durant
you just
has.
can't guard it.
The only other player I know that players have talked about, just seeing old players talk in videos, is Larry Bird would have that green light. Like he did that against a rookie. He's like, watch this. And he shot a half-court shot, airballed it, and the rookie looked at him. He goes, see, you think because I missed that shot, that's bad. He goes, I'm allowed to take these shots and miss them, and I still won't get benched. That's where I'm at. He's like, you shoot that shit.
I just saw the story of the guy who got second place in that 3-point contest, where he said who's getting second. He said he walked into that all-star room locker room and was like, nope, 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 nope. Who's getting second tonight? And then never took his jacket off and won.
Never took his warm-ups off.
Yeah.
Yeah, he. I just got to the episode at the end of Celtic City where they just drafted him, so I'm excited for the start of that.
That's like Doc
Regime.
Rivers talking about when he put up 50-something points against the Hawks and they're falling over, and Doc Rivers goes, we all got fined $100 that game. He goes, that was the best $100 seat I ever spent in my life to watch that guy play.
Yeah. I'm trying. Oh, Kevin Durant. They said the 5 teams. Sham said this morning: the Heat, Timberwolves, Rockets, Spurs, and Knicks. The Knicks have made an offer for Kevin Durant.
Rockets, Knicks, and Wolves, I like, as far as put him on that team, take them to the finals.
I like the Spurs too. Wemby, Castle, Fox, and him.
Honestly, even if I'm the Spurs, I would give up Fox for him.
No.
You kind of don't want to give up anyone like in terms of that type of caliber.
You can't be a 30-win team or less, add Kevin Durant, and go to a 60-win team with a championship ring.
I think the Rockets, Timberwolves, and Knicks, depending on who you give up, would benefit.
Here's my thing.
I'm just talking about their teams as is right now. I know they would have to trade for him. Adding that guy probably puts you through. But like you said, if you have to remove, if the Rockets give up Amin Thompson,
Well, no, but you give up Jalen Green easily.
I would.
yeah,
give
you're,
up Jalen
you're
Green for a
replacing
fucking
Jalen Green
bag
with
of
like a way
basketballs.
better version than Jalen Green.
That's what I'm saying. Like it's different when you're impact, like big time impact players like Thompson, and like you're not giving up Wemby or Castle, but why not give up De'Aaron Fox? Where if you watch De'Aaron Fox, where you're like
Oh, he's fantastic.
as a third or fourth option.
No,
Yeah, he's hooped as a first option
he's
for the
not.
Kings.
he was fantastic.
Oh.
That speed and that first step, his quickness, you need that.
What I more fear there is with, I mean, Castle's a rookie. I don't think he's going to make a massive impact. He'll be a second-year player. But Wemby, Kevin Durant, are they going to stay healthy?
That's the whole problem.
Well, that's the risk of trading for KD at this point in his career.
No,
I mean, he
Not
hasn't,
saying
he
him
hasn't really
health-wise.
run risk of that, but I'm just saying, like, with his history now getting older, like, all that
The
you
age
do
would
have
be
to,
the
you
thing.
have to think about.
I think his game is fine to not worry about his health because he's not,
He doesn't even look like he's trying.
like bodying with anybody.
He
and
barely
shit
looks
that.
like he's trying. He's definitely not trying on defense, and he averages 28.
I'm talking
on
about when
50,
he's
49.
posting somebody up. It's not like I'm sitting there having to bang to get a little space. He just catches the ball. I'm just gonna go over you and score. And
That's what
it's
like
more of someone undercutting him.
You just watch him play, and it's like you don't even notice it, and he has 34 on 50.
Like if I'm Ant, I want them to trade to KD just to add to my offensive game because he can learn that post-up game from KD, and it's game over for the league when that kid gets a post-up game.
Who would that?
By the way, I'd like to say with the SGA thing, I love the way he plays. I wish more people would play like that
Right.
and keep it inside the arc. Only thing, if you could remove the foul baiting. Now, people get mad at the free throws. I think when you get to the bucket and you get to inside
are
the
gonna
arc,
get
you're
more
going to
free
get to the
throws.
free throw line. The two most highest shot attempts inside the arc and inside the paint this year were Giannis and SGA, and they had the two most free throw attempts. That's how
Right.
it should be.
And Giannis isn't foul baiting or shooting mid-rangers.
Giannis
He's
is
going to the
earning those
hoop.
motherfuckers. And if you could just remove the foul baiting, I saw a fucking clip where he does a nice move, this fadeaway up on the base, beautiful clip, and he looks at the ref like, no, and he didn't. No one came fucking within 2 feet of him the whole time, and he was
Right.
like to the ref, and I'm like, dude, that's gotta stop.
And here's my thing is like Harden, Brunson, SGA, Jimmy doing the foul baiting. It's like I don't like it, but also I'm more mad at the refs than I am at them.
When they finish the game with 28 free throws, you go tell the guy stop doing that.
Like
I mean, I just went
I
26 to
just
28.
think-
yeah, I don't know. That's where like SGA and Tatum. The one thing I do like SGA more than Tatum is his shot selection.
Shot. I love. That's what I meant to say. The way he plays the game
Tatum's
and
a
his
scorer.
shot selection and he plays like offensively. He plays the game like he's playing in 2007.
What's the game? The Magic closeout game. What did Tatum shoot? Like over 50%. He only shot what 4
Like, I think it was
threes.
4 or 5, yeah.
And it's just like, dude, like why aren't you and JB living
Everyone
in the
just
mid
wants to be
range?
Steph.
Especially when you're up by 20 with 7 minutes left in the game and you're shooting those with 20 seconds. Like, you're giving them
That's where you have a
10
K.
more possessions by not taking
That's
10
another
more
guy that you got to
That's
shoot.
what-
Go back and shoot the guy who invented analytics.
That's where like Boston, if you replace KP with KD this playoff series and against the Knicks, that's where KD's like, give me the ball, I'm gonna go to the elbow, I'm gonna hit a shot every time we go down there, and it's like they're not gonna get close to us, and I'm only shooting twos.
KD's
Yeah.
so hard to judge because I feel like impact of the game and the ring counter and greatness and all these different things. Like I put Steph above him all time, but like KD is better than him, obviously. So I don't know what to say there.
Yeah, and my thing is too, it's like you could say like Steph has 4 rings to KD's 2, but it's like, well, Steph probably only has 2 rings if KD's not there, and LeBron has 6.
Who knows?
They for sure have those two, because he joined that team. And he won
I think that
finals
like I think
MVPs.
they still like that's what sucks about those is they still could have won it without him because they've been there without
And
him.
they were up 3-1 the year before.
They should have won that.
Right.
But like I can't say that but it's like, well, okay, well then take him off, they still win it. It's like, but put him on, he's the best player on it. I've seen them on the same team and said who's the better. Like it's easy to see when
He
it's
took
like
all the big shots.
like who's better, Kyrie or LeBron? It's like, well, LeBron, obviously. He was the better player on the team. And it's like it's the same thing there. It's KD's better, but he's higher on my list, greater all time. It's like I think I just leave them both out. Maybe no one likes this. Maybe someone does. I probably leave them both out of the top 10. I think I have a clear 9.
I would leave them both out of the top 10.
My clear 9. I might miss someone here. No order. Hakeem. I'm probably going backwards in my order in my head, but no order. Hakeem, Kareem, Magic, Bird, Shaq, LeBron, Kobe, MJ, and Tim Duncan. that's my 9 that I'm like, they're in my top 10, 100%.
Did you say Wilt?
No. I almost didn't count Kareem because I don't like to count basketball before 1980. Not count it, but like, dude, there were 7 teams.
Well, Kareem did play throughout the 80s too, though.
That's why I keep him.
He still won 5 championships
Because
in
I've
the 80s.
seen him. You've seen him dominate in the 80s, but he didn't play in the late 80s
But he was 7'2".
Yeah, he won all 5 chips with the Lakers.
with the Showtime Lakers.
Yeah. He won 1 with Milwaukee by
That was
himself.
his last year.
And then it was the year before they lost to the Bulls in the finals.
90.
So that's why
Or 89.
Isaiah Thomas always mentions that Michael never beat Kareem in Magic.
And he played till 89, and he won a finals in 88. He's the one guy I keep in there, but I'm like,
You're pushing it.
he's probably 9th.
Yeah.
He's not better than Hakeem.
I think
at
we should
center
do like a
or
top
Shaq.
5 of each position list for each of us, like on one show and everything
Yeah.
like that. But I feel like that 9, because I did see this thing, I think it was Powell. No, it wasn't Powell, but somebody saying it was AK-47 that used to play for the Jazz.
Mm-hmm.
He was saying, he's like, if you want to do the greatest of all time, he's like,
Kurolenko.
I only count them if they have 3 rings or more to be like highly ranked. He's like, so Hakeem misses out on that. He's like, it seems like 3 rings gets you to be in that greatest of all time conversation.
Hakeem has other things that just probably the best defensive center of all time. He's one of like, I think there's 3 players that have won Defensive Player of the Year, 4 players. Defensive Player of the Year, MVP, Finals MVP.
Yeah, I don't agree with it.
All these
but
things. I think, but that's why Hakeem, when I said I went backwards, that's why he was the first
he only
name on
has
my
the
list,
2?
because he only has the 2.
Because a lot of people say like Hakeem's better
He
and greater than
dominated for the
Shaq,
2, you know.
but I'm like, Shaq was the most dominant center
and he
of all
probably
time.
doesn't win the 2 if Michael Jordan doesn't go play baseball. So it's like,
Yeah, that's fair.
it goes both ways, but it's also, when it comes to rings, it's like, it is a team sport. Name another player. Obviously, we know Kenny. Who the fuck else was on that team? He was carrying that team, you know?
Yeah, a lot goes into it, though, because I also think the Nets would have probably won one if Harden and Kyrie weren't injured at the worst possible times.
Yeah, it just, I don't know, it sucks.
Like,
Yeah, and then you think too, if Chris Paul doesn't go down, do the Rockets beat the Warriors?
I don't think there's 9 players better probably ever than Giannis or Jokic either.
Hakeem
10 better
averaged,
players, I should say.
this is one of the finals, 27, 9, 3.5, 4 blocks on 50% shooting. I mean, 100% from 3. Who knows how many he took. 86% from the line. The next highest average on his team was 13 points.
But you know, like that KD
Vernon
Warriors
Maxwell,
team,
great defender.
like people, like the finals was the Rockets Warriors.
Yeah,
But they knew when they rolled into the Cavs, they were like, we're gonna steamroll these guys. And even like the Cavs almost won Game 1 because LeBron went God mode in basketball. He scored and even then, still wasn't enough because J.R. Smith has a brain fucking fart and fucks that up. But it's like that Rockets team. If Chris Paul doesn't go down, it's like, do they win? But will they beat the Cavs? Maybe they don't have this.
This
that-
Rockets
sure
team
they
with
killed
Hakeem, his second championship ring, was a fucking team. Holy shit. Hakeem, Clyde, Robert Horry, Sam Cassell, Kenny Smith, Mario Elie. In the finals, they had 5 guys average 14 or more points.
Yeah, that's so he had a
Clyde
close spot
Drexler
on.
is a very underrated.
But what did he average?
Shooting guard all time.
11.5, 5.5, 2 steals, 2 blocks. And who was the center on the other team with the Magic?
Shaquille O'Neal.
Pretty good player there.
Um,
How old was Shaq in that finals?
Probably 21.
22 or something. Yeah. You said would you say Kevin Garnett over Dirk all time?
That's a hard one. Probably no.
I would have to say Dirk.
I would say Dirk.
After tough consideration.
Dirk over KG?
Yeah, with that,
Shaq was
just because of the finals he won.
Shaq was 22 and Penny was
Well,
20.
you're giving him 1 year over an entire career, though.
Yes.
Not even 1 year. I mean, Dirk took that 2000
6. He went to this finals in 06.
and he took that team to that finals.
Yeah,
And
but what teams in KG to have Minnesota that
does
he
Dirk
was
have 2
leading to?
MVPs? Like Dirk had a career too.
Right.
KG was
Wasn't
going
like
to
a
the
year.
conference finals with the Timberwolves in the West with Wally Zerbiak as a second option.
Yeah, that's unbelievable.
and he's also
KG's a better defender too. So it's
and
like
KG's
I'm
also.
not saying it's not closer. You're not wrong for KG.
it's splitting hairs with me.
I just think the whole thing is
I think
Dirk has that first option on the Mavericks.
I think
being down
KG's
2-0.
closer to Duncan than Dirk is close to KG.
No, I don't agree with that.
I don't agree with that at all. I think Duncan clears them both pretty easily,
Yeah.
and I think Dirk and KG are splitting hairs.
I think
for the
if you
spot.
flipped a coin, I would take.
I think today I'm saying Dirk, and next year this time, ask me again, I might say KG. I might have seen a couple clips.
There's
and I
something about when
fucking-
you're the number 1 guy on a team and you win the finals.
it's different.
It proves that you were like
Right.
they were coming to
Now
stop you.
it
and
does
you
suck
won.
because, like Billy said, If he was on any other team, if he was on that Mavericks team,
If he was on the Spurs,
Who?
KG.
If you take
KG's on the Spurs,
I
and
know
Tim
you
Duncan's on
can't
the
do this.
Timberwolves.
I know we can't do this because if my grandma had wheels, she'd be a bike.
All right.
But if you take that Tim Duncan off the Spurs team and put Kevin Garnett there, he's gonna win a couple rings as the leader of the team.
And what did Paul Pierce say when they argue about D Wade? And it's like, I didn't have Shaq.
Yeah.
I didn't. Well,
I'd have LeBron. I would have fucking 3 rings
He
too
goes,
if you
by
gave me
the
Shaq and
time I finally got some guys, we were the last 3, 4, or 5 years of our career, and we won one. And the next 2 years, we got hurt. So
I just can't imagine if KG is the number one option on that Mavericks team, they beat the Spurs, Thunder, Lakers, and then the Heat.
But I will say with that argument, D-Wade did have Shaq, but it was also, like, if you're going to say last 3, 4 years of my career, that was the last fucking year of Shaq being anything.
Shaq was in the
playing.
final, in the MVP voting, top 5 MVP voting that
I
year.
don't know how. And that was probably the best, one of the best, probably the best in my lifetime finals performance ever by Dwayne Wade.
Oh, I mean, my God, yeah.
So, like, you can't sit there and say, well, he had it because he won because of this. It's like, he won because of him.
That's why I said with the Dirk thing. Like, they went through.
And in 2011, they should have won because of him, but LeBron sucked dick.
Right. He showed up.
Yeah.
But anyway, that was just. I was
Want some
thinking-
trivia?
Yep.
All right. So Anthony Edwards had passed earlier this season Tracy McGrady to be number 5 for most points in the NBA before turning 24.
Mm-hmm.
Anthony Edwards is now 4th all time. Who are the other 4 players to have the most points in the NBA before turning 24?
LeBron James,
Number 1.
Kevin Durant,
Number 2.
Luka
Luka
Doncic.
Number 5.
so he's 5th on there.
Yeah.
Jason Tatum,
He's 14th.
really? It's kind of surprising.
Devin Booker?
Fuck you.
8th. I think JD, because remember his early years were Kyrie, Hayward,
that's
and then
true.
Who we get? LeBron, Kevin Durant,
LeBron 1, Kevin Durant 2,
Carmelo
Anthony
Anthony.
Edwards 4, Carmelo Anthony number 3.
And Luka's 5.
There you go.
Kobe's number 7.
Who's number 6?
T-Mac.
You said that.
Shaq's
Number
number
8.
9. Booker's 8. Shaq's 9. Karl Anthony Towns is number 10.
I mean, we named the fucking 10 except for Karl Anthony Towns.
And believe it or not, Dwight Howard is number 11 and Andrew Wiggins is number 12.
Dwight Howard was unfucking believable in his early
Fuck
years.
Devin Booker, Bradley Beal.
And then
Um,
this was for Eric since he gets shit for mentioning Tony Parker in trivia. Steph
he's
Curry
the one to mention him, but yeah.
just passed Tony Parker on the list of most playoff points. Is now 10th all time. You want to give a rip, try to rip off the other 9?
Michael Jordan,
Number 2.
LeBron James,
Number 1.
Kobe Bryant,
Number 4.
Magic Johnson,
Nope.
Larry Bird,
Nope.
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Number 3.
There we go.
Did we say Tim
Karl
Duncan?
Malone,
Karl Malone's 8. Tim Duncan's number 6.
John Stockton,
Nope.
Hakeem.
Nope.
Let's think about this. Let's really lock in here.
Give me who we have so far. I'm so sorry.
LeBron, Michael, Kareem, Kobe, Duncan, Malone, Curry.
I
I'm
mean,
gonna
we're,
get 7
we're
to 10.
more on
You
it.
need 9, 7, and 5.
Unless we've already said this person. Shaq.
Shaq is number 5.
Yeah, I mean, that's just
9 and
Dirk
7.
in there?
9 and 7 most playoff points of all time.
Did we say Tim Duncan?
Yep.
John Wall?
No.
Manu Ginobili.
Totally kidding.
No.
Um,
I know you were, but. Those
I love that guy.
Pippen. Not gonna be in there.
No.
I just got 6 fucking rings. You would think, oh, Scotty and Mike, right? But I mean, the guy's not even
Kevin Durant?
Kevin Durant's number 7.
Thank you, Eric.
No.
Number 9.
Paul Pierce.
Oh, is it who I think it is?
Kevin Garnett.
I think it is it. Somebody I love.
I think it was mine.
No.
James Harden.
Oh,
Nobody from this era,
Allen Iverson.
or the previous era,
Oh.
or the previous era, or even the previous era.
Jerry West.
Jerry West is number 9 all time.
I thought we were getting back to fucking
Give
Bob.
me
Cousy.
11 through 15. Just rattle them off.
I don't have that. They just gave me 10.
All right, it's fine.
And
Oh.
then
Yeah.
I have, let's do top 5. Highest
We'll start
from the 80s after.
Okay.
Highest points per game for 2 teammates, or highest points in a game by 2 teammates.
Highest points in a game.
Yeah.
Derek White and Peyton Pritchard.
No,
Wait.
Peyton Pritchard's in there with someone. Like a Celtics this year is in there.
not top, in the top 5 though.
Fuck. Then they have
So 2 teammates in any regular season or postseason game.
But post 80s, so none of
Kobe
both 100
Bryant and Smush Parker.
Kobe Bryant and Smush Parker had 94, where Kobe had 81 and Smush had 13.
What an
That's pretty
asshole.
impressive. He was the next highest scorer.
LeBron and Kyrie.
Nope. Do you want to just give this
Really?
to you?
Jordan and Pippen.
No.
Devin Booker and someone.
You're never going to get the number 4. So number 4 is Dell Ellis and Xavier McDaniel with 90.
Would have got that.
53 and 37 for them.
53 and 37.
What a game.
Holy fuck.
Stephen Clay.
Nope. Tied for 5th. Jamal Mashburn had 50. Jim Jackson had 38.
Have you ever played with Jamal Mashburn on NBA Hangtime
Yeah.
on Nintendo 64?
No.
Oh,
Jamal Mashburn
don't.
used to be a bucket. And then
That
Gilbert
guy did not
Arenas.
miss in that game.
Gilbert Arenas had 54, and Caron Butler had 34.
Ron
Jesus.
Butler, I'm a wizard if you doesn't know.
So you need number 2 and number 3.
And we would get these.
You would get these.
James Harden and someone. Luka and someone.
Trying to think of like that. Like who scored fucking 70 one night?
Be
Damian
late
Lillard.
2000 teammates.
Mm.
Late 2000, like 2008, 2012 teammates, and then earlier in their career, these other guys were
LeBron
2010.
someone, no?
Nope. He's already on the list once. He was number 1. Now he's number 2.
Kobe. Oh, jeez.
Kobe Bryant and Pau Gasol combined for 92, wherein Kobe had 61 and Pau had 31.
He's
Jesus
a fucking
Christ.
maniac.
But two guys scoring 91, I mean, you're fucked.
And then, that was 92. They scored.
You lost the game.
Number 3 is 2 guys scoring 91. They were teammates, obviously. I mean, but they were teammates. They went to the finals young. James Harden was the 3rd guy.
Oh, Katie and Westbrook.
KD had 51 and Russ had 40.
Oh my god.
That's the only one on
That's
the.
each time they bring the ball down the court, one of those two is saucing you and scoring.
Mm-hmm.
That is unreal. Quick, like a minute each. Thoughts for the next season? Like what? Just looking ahead to next season, what you're expecting.
I am so excited for this offseason. I
Should
think
be
there's going to be a lot of
exciting
moves.
offseason. That's the one thing about the NBA.
I'll paraphrase it this way, just because we're Celtics fans. Do you think they're like, what's the move that gets made?
The offseason has to happen. I mean,
Will you be disappointed by any moves? I will be extremely disappointed if they trade Jaylen Brown. Or
if
Derek
JB,
White.
JT, Derek White move at all, I'll be pissed.
Right.
Everybody else, like, I hate to say this,
Because they
like
want to ring for us.
Horford's old.
I'll keep him for. He's going to stay for one more year just because he's cheap.
Here's the thing.
That minimum.
He's cheap.
If he's gonna move, like, it would be weird if he was like, "Hey, he signed with the Hawks." I'd be like, "What?
Who?
Horford?" I'd be like, "What?"
But if somebody did offer Horford at this age $30 million a year and he
I would
took
like
it,
him to take it.
I would not be mad at him.
But
Oh
I'm
no,
just
I
saying,
would. No, I would be mad if
if he
didn't.
retires, or
He's coming back,
if
right?
KP or Drew go,
They're going.
if they go, I'll fine with that. I mean, I love those players, like when they're fully healthy, especially Drew. But if they go, it's fine. And I would
If
like
you
to,
had to
I would
pick
like to
one to
keep
keep-
Peyton Pritchard,
If you had to pick
Drew
one
Holiday.
to keep, Drew or KP.
Drew Holiday.
Are they both fully healthy?
Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah.
Like, can I guarantee their health? I'll take KP.
If
because
they
he's-
guaranteed health, it's KP. If it's not, you got to take Drew.
Yeah,
I think if you guarantee me health, I might take Drew.
There's no way.
I think KP
KP
is a
Yeah,
That-
you
is a
can't
game
kind of can't
changer.
bring. You
a
can
7-footer
things
that could
you
shoot.
can't bring.
Yeah,
You just never guaranteeing his health is just not.
It's almost as
that's the
We
problem.
talked about it when we said the top 5 in the NBA looks a whole lot different if it's fully healthy. You know, like I said, okay, SGA thing. This is my point with SGA. If everyone's fully healthy, Giannis, Jokic, AD, Kawhi, Jason Tatum,
but
Stephen
health
Curry.
is probably the first thing I'm asking about.
Right, and SGA, honestly, he's one of those guys that, like Anthony Edwards, when he was like, I wish people made more back-to-backs, he'll play.
What was the first question he asked when I said Drew or KP? Can I guarantee health? Because
Yeah.
it's like, yeah, I would love to have. I have a Maserati in my front yard. It doesn't have an engine in it.
And here's
It's
my
like,
thing
okay,
about-
So I would rather have my Camry.
Like the guys you named fully healthy: a Jokic, a Giannis, a JT, an SGA, a Kawhi, and an AD. I put AD last there because he doesn't have the mentality of those guys. Like
He did in New Orleans, which was weird. I don't know what happened.
he'll go,
He got softer.
he'll
Go
go.
to LA, that's what happens.
Yeah, it's like he doesn't want to play. I don't want to play center. I want to play power forward. And then it's like he scores 20 points in the first quarter and he ends the game with 24 points. And it's like what? And
And he's always grabbing at something.
And he went to LA, and he kind of.
no, I'm saying fully healthy.
He kind of looked even kind of turning into a Mexican.
Okay.
Want to wrap it up?
All right, but off season. Kevin Durant's being traded. Is there anything else that is supposed to be happening besides the
They
Celtics?
said Giannis is no longer moving, but I think Giannis moves.
They said that we can't trade Drew for more than one player.
See, that's
because
a
of the
guy.
apron thing,
That's
which
a
I don't
guy.
understand
That's a
those
guy. At the end of it, whoever said it, at the end of his career, you might go, he had one ring. It's like, okay, you go play on the fucking Bucks. You know what I
rules.
mean?
He needs to move. He needs to say to them,
especially
"Get
in
fucked."
this era. Like, you could apply that to some eras, sure, because no one moved, and you kind of, but like an organization dictates that. The Bucks has never been a great one since 1975, and it's like he won with the second option being Chris Middleton.
If you were a Bucks fan or a Bucks person and he asked for a trade, if you're upset with him, you can go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
It depends on the shape of the team. Like, there's some teams, like if you gave me the Nuggets, I would rather have Jokic than Giannis. But I would say most teams in the league, I'm taking Giannis first over everybody else.
Right.
As if you said you can add a player to this team, give me Giannis.
That's my thing too. When you think about Like if he ends with one ring, it's like, yeah, but look what he played on, and it's like Kobe has 5, but it's like, yeah, but look at those prime 6-7 years where he had Smush Parker, Kwame Brown, and Luke Walton.
I'm thinking of 2 teams that should do everything to get him. OKC
Giannis?
should give up every draft pick. Yeah,
every draft pick
if
in
they have him and Shai.
Give up Chet too.
I was just
That's
about to
fine,
say
too.
every draft pick in Chet
But
Holmgren.
for them,
And
it's
even
more
Lou
draft
Dort.
picks.
Why would you not give up? Like, why do you need those two
No,
players?
we need him
Players.
for sure.
Okay, then Jalen Williams.
No.
That's-
You just said Giannis is the best player in the league.
Right.
You're not gonna give up 2.
They have 9 draft picks in the next 3
They have literally-
years.
you won't
That's
have to.
But if
far
you're telling me the Bucks aren't
I
going
would
to go
say
give us
keep
these.
Dort, keep Williams, SGA.
everyone else you can.
Everyone else you can have, and you can have. We have 9 picks in the
first
first
round
round
picks.
in the next 3 or 4 years. Take them all. You're
That's-
rebuilding anyway.
You
that's-
think
You're
I'm
rebuilding
drafting somebody better than those 2 guys that I know are established
9
players?
people. 9
Yeah.
people.
So I have to go through 9 people to find out.
That's what the Thunder did.
This isn't like
I'm going to name a few people.
You
They
see
drafted
people that-
Jalen Williams, Lou Dort, SGA, and
Right,
Chet
and
Holmgren.
that's up to you. Listen,
They didn't draft SGA.
this guy, you're not going to win with this guy anymore. With what you have now, you can. If you're the owner, especially the GM, he might be like, "Well, I get
especially
you 9 picks, and then you fire me when we suck for the next 2 years." Like you have to establish, if we do this, we are going to suck. We're going to get
until these 9 picks are here.
When the 9, you can judge me off the 9 picks because if you're like, "Hey, well, we traded Giannis," well, you want him to lose
Here's
in
the
the
thing:
first
you
round every
get
fucking
you
year.
get the 9 picks. Guess what else? You also keep the first overall pick for the next 3 years because your team's going to suck fucking cock.
Yeah, you lose that guy. You're
that's
fucked.
what Presti did.
So that's what I'm saying.
He told the guy, he's like, listen, we're gonna get picks. We're gonna get these old guys.
And that guy's fought, and that guy stayed with him. He said, "I got you. Now we got to
Okay.
start. When do we see results?" And look at him now.
Like, listen,
We
I'm
won
making some.
70 games.
Yeah,
But what I'm saying is they should, if they get Giannis and keep Dort and SGA, just those 2 probably, they're good to go.
They could literally trade every other player.
I think that's the one thing they don't have anymore in this league is that they don't, or in NFL either. There's no patience. There's no,
That's what I'm saying.
hey, let's build something here.
There could be 4 men on their roster: SGA, Lou Dort, Jalen Williams, and Giannis. Right? They let go of every other player, and they're trying to like sign a bunch of vet minimums. I would still put them as a minus heavy favorite to win the NBA Finals.
100%.
They might even be able to just put 4 players out there.
The other team I was thinking was the Spurs because Giannis and Wemby on defense, you have no chance of scoring at the rim. You have no chance.
Yeah.
Literally no chance of scoring at the rim.
I mean, everybody should give up anything they want, like I said, but
No, I'm talking teams that, like, yeah, if you're the Detroit Pistons, that would be stupid.
cool. Give it up all you want, but like
You're gonna
great.
You have
Just for
that,
you're,
that'd
you're
be-
building.
your supporting cast is worse than the Bucks. If you were to trade
That'd be
Cade
for ticket
Cunningham.
sales.
I'm talking for the Thunder though, a team where it's like we are in a position.
See, that's a
We
guy.
sit
That,
in a
like,
room and we're like,
I wouldn't mind if the Celtics try to figure out a way to get
I
him,
said with the
obviously.
ring thing.
the
Like,
problem with that is JB has to go,
what was he averaging?
and I like JT.
He averaged like 38, 15, and 7 or something in 6 straight playoff games, and they were 0 and 6 in those plays. Like
Yeah.
that's come on.
Here's the thing: is I do love JB, but Giannis is the best player in the league, and it's like
If
JB's
they said
just
right
a
now,
guy though that you just like.
if
I
they
love
said
him to
right
death.
now to you, JB's going to be back by September.
Training camp, he's good. He's fine.
He's good.
This was like a cleanup.
When game 1 starts, he'll be back. JB. We still have Derek White. We've retained Drew Holiday. Okay.
This is not feasible. Is the only problem.
You got to listen. Okay.
Right.
We retained Drew Holiday. We retained Derek White. and JB's. They're all healthy. Okay. We're keeping Horford. He's coming back. Keeping Pritchard. He's coming back.
Mm-hmm.
KP. We did whatever with him. We're going to trade straight up Jason Tatum for Giannis Antetokounmpo, and we're going to give up a pick or 2 for Giannis because JT's gone this year.
But see, now I didn't know where you were going because I was gonna say if we're keeping JT,
No, we're letting go of JT for Giannis, and we're giving up a couple picks.
I mean, just because he tore his Achilles, I would have to say yes.
The thing is, I think that would be a good trade for both teams, and I'll tell you why. Because the Bucks will have the first pick. They'll have fucking nobody. If you don't get the first pick, I don't want to see the team that was worse than you.
Dame just tore his Achilles, so he's done. Like
They don't
worse than
have
the first
anybody.
pick.
Then you could, you know what I mean?
They don't have him either.
So you're going to have your own first pick. You're going to have whatever picks the Celtics decide to give you. And I would ask for like 20, 30 first-round pick or something when there's maybe could be bad. Right? And next year, Jason Tatum's your star. So it's like you at least have something to build off of. I would probably trade Dame away if someone wants him.
Giannis
Just
is
tore
only
his
30.
Achilles, he's done.
I know.
He's probably
Giannis is only 30, by the way.
That's why.
That's why
I
I'm
just
like-
said
If he was
you're the
34,
Thunder,
35,
you have 6 years of Giannis if you're the Thunder.
As the
you
number
are
one
winning.
option.
You're probably three-peating.
what they have right now, if they add Giannis, is having Steph and adding KD.
Yes. That's my
SGA is
whole
not
point.
as good as Steph, obviously.
That's why when he's saying Boston and all this, that's probably not feasible unless it's. But I'm talking a team where it's like we won't have to. We're going to look very similar and add Giannis because the draft picks, like you said, the Thunder could draft 5 of those 9 guys, and it's like no matter what, all 9 of those probably won't be Giannis. One of them won't become Giannis. But if you're the Bucks, what other option do you have? No, what we're going to do is we're going to have Giannis play with who would be their point guard this upcoming year. Literally nobody.
Gary Trent.
Right.
Is he even on that team anymore?
He scored 40 twice.
He went unbelievable.
He was
that game they lost.
But we're going to do that for 82 games.
That Giannis kind of lost him. He almost fucking threw that ball away until the coach called
Who
timeout.
gives a shit?
Oh yeah. But regardless, they were going to go to the next round and get their dicks kicked in by even they wouldn't have beat the Knicks.
They wouldn't. They shouldn't have won a game.
But my point being with the Bucks, if they're offering you even 6 first-round picks, 7, you're just going to have Giannis and be the Pittsburgh Steelers for the next 10 years. I mean, I'm just saying that's a team that has to really consider that.
They're even hurting themselves.
That's what I mean.
Because they're putting themselves in a position where it's like we have the
You can't be a
20th, we have the
bottom 10
20th pick over 20th overall pick every year because this guy's so good he's taking us there. The team around him is not good enough to get out of the first round.
They're not.
They're in hell.
They're the Pittsburgh Steelers of the NBA.
Yeah.
Yep.
Where it's like our coach has never had a losing season. It's like he also hasn't won a playoff game since
At
Obama
this
was
rate,
in
like
the
you
White
said with the
House.
Steelers, you're going to go 9-7 or 10-7 or 9-8
8-9
every year until you kill Mike Tomlin.
This year though with Rodgers, you never know.
They might go 11-6
I'm talking more
and
about for him.
win a playoff game.
Yeah, it just depends.
They're not winning the Super Bowl.
I don't know what they do to win the Super Bowl besides get one of the top guys that's there.
All right.
They get Dak, they're not winning the Super Bowl.
I don't know why they traded Pickens now that they signed Rodgers.
He apparently made them trade him from what he's putting out.
Just fist fighting people.
No, he said he put on Twitter or something. I made them trade me.
I saw a post in that training camp. He is unguardable in training camp.
He is very good.
But that makes me think that our
We're gonna throw the
defense.
ball.
Yeah, because I also saw that.
No, he's a good receiver.
No, he is.
Talent-wise,
He is. Also saw that Jonathan Mingo was unguardable either. So I'm more worried about our
then I
secondary.
don't like any
No,
of
I've
those.
seen Pickens in game make catches
Oh.
and run routes that
He
are
might be the
fantastic.
best
CD
hard
Pickens.
pass catcher in the league.
That's what I'm saying.
No, CD Pickens. Like Pickens is not like he's really number 3, and then
No,
just
he's not.
no, he's not. He's a number 2, and he could be a number 1 on
I
that
saw
team.
a
Pittsburgh,
thing, it was
and he
like-
Yeah.
open a lot.
Top 10 most scrimmage yards in a season ever by a wide receiver. And like first, I think was Calvin Johnson or something, Jerry Rice maybe or whatever. CeeDee Lamb was like 8th on that list.
My thing
issue
is,
He had
with
like,
those two
he had like
guys-
an 1,800-yard scrimmage yard year.
my problem with Pickens is that I'm not worried about any of his production. I'm worried about, hey, you should have been blocking, and instead you were fist fighting somebody on the
Well,
sideline.
and he's technically holding up a body.
Well, at least they replaced him with DK Metcalf. So.
My thing is, with getting 2 guys like that, what does that look like for the offense? So if you're, let's throw the ball 50 times. That's what I'm scared of.
Yeah.
100%. And
That's a 3-point shooting.
Who's our running back anyway?
NBA team.
Especially when your running back sucks too.
yeah, that's the thing. And Dak is not a guy you want throwing 50 times a game.
No, Dak is all like that mid-tier quarterback where it's like, well, you have 2 great receivers and a good running game. There are plays. He's a little more of a playmaker, like in terms of he's above average quarterback, but it's not like
It's shaping up to be the same thing. Playoff loss gone. Fuck off.
I just was shocked. It just sucks because like
I mean, we got
a
Bazooka
guy-
Joe.
We put a
Dak gets
guy
hurt
in
again,
a
and you
position.
get Bazooka Joe in there.
We put a guy in a position at the head coach where it's like we don't even know what you have. So what happens after 1 year if he sucks, or what if he gets to the playoffs? It's like, well, it's a first-year coach. It's not. That's pretty good. If your first year as a head coach in the NFL, they said you make the playoffs. I'm not telling you what team you coach. You'd be like, I will
You
take
went
that.
11-6
I'm in
and
the
lost by
dance.
21 in the playoffs.
I'm in the
I want to say since 2002, every rookie NFC East coach has made the playoffs.
Well, that's a very interesting stat.
And also, if you remember, what did the Cowboys finish last year? 7-9,
So, 7-10.
7-10, and it's like they weren't a good team whatsoever, but to finish 7-10, and how many games did Dak miss at the end
Jaden
of the
Daniels
thing?
will regress a little bit.
So you think about if Dak plays, you probably finish 9-8, maybe 10-7, an extra 2 or 3 games.
Yeah.
I'm not saying they were gonna win a playoff game or anything, but it's like we're not people that want to just make the playoffs though with our team.
My
know what the
only point
Cowboys-
is, if you're I tell you tomorrow, you are coaching any team in the NFL. Your first year, you made the playoffs. No, you say, well, you're the Dallas Cowboys. Oh, fuck, the expectation is this. But it's like, that's not my fault. You hired me as a first year. You thought a first-year coach was going to come in and win you the Super Bowl.
Yeah, and I would say you guys were 7-9 last year.
Right. So if I'm a first...
I wouldn't bring up the Dak missed
If
games,
I'm
but-
Schottenheimer and I walk into my exit interview and they're like, we still didn't make it to the championship game. It's like, this is my first year here, man. What did you want me to do?
Yeah.
You guys have fucked this up for the last.
It's my first year as a head coach and my first
now,
year
if you
here.
hire Vrabel, it's like, hey, like we're like we look like, hey, we didn't have the talent. This guy got us there, but with Schottenheimer, it's like this is a trial run for you guys. I don't know who you thought I was.
You know what the Cowboys' playoff record is since I was born?
How many games is it?
16.
4-12.
Is exactly right.
Fuck. I was
never an NFC championship.
But that's just my point.
It's my life. And people will be like, oh, bandwagon Cowboys. I'm like, you go fuck yourself.
Ryan Lopez.
You go fuck yourself.
Bitch.
You go fuck yourself.
But I think next year.
I don't think a Yankees fan could call anybody a bandwagon fan.
Right.
Especially a Yankees fan who was born and raised in Los Angeles,
California.
I think next year the Skins go back a little bit.
I do too.
They come back to the pack, and depending on our defense, that's not a team that I've ever like.
Every projection I see, they're the 1 seed in the fucking NFC.
It's just because all these
The
guys,
Commanders.
Yeah.
I will say too, and it might have just been them trying to be humble. There's some Eagles fans too after that stat about rookie head coaches. They're like, we lost coordinators again.
Did they lose Vic Fangio?
Nope.
I saw Cooper Kupp talk about how the defenses in the NFL have changed. And he talked about Sean McVay's offense, and he was like, we were just fucking doing whatever we want, like running through teams. And so teams started to adjust. He named 2 coordinators that really started to adjust and change the schemes of defenses.
I know who they were.
Who?
Vic Fangio's one of them.
Vic Fangio's one of them.
I would probably say Dan Quinn.
No.
Did not say Brian Flores.
No. It's a young defensive coordinator, and he was a head coach. And he said he wasn't showing this and that, and like he wasn't letting
If you say Brandon Staley,
it's Brandon Staley.
I'm gonna kill you with my bare
He
hands.
said Brandon Staley.
That's cool for him though. That guy.
It was great what Cooper Kupp said. He was
That
you were
guy
like,
just
"Holy
fucked himself with
shit."
the 4th down shit.
I'm not gonna say Brandon Staley wasn't a great defensive coordinator because I don't remember him as one, but I can tell you he was not a good head coach.
He was like Vic Fangio
Complete
started
asshole.
Which maybe his second time around he'll learn, but he doesn't seem like a guy that was gonna learn from his mistakes. But he didn't fucking learn from them.
That was such a bad
said
trial.
defenses adjusted. Vic Fangio and Brandon Staley kind of steelheaded that, and like we're not showing you what you're not. We're going to be able to come read our defense now. We're not going to show you what
Why
we got.
does it
We're
take
doing
that long?
And we're doing all these different things and all that. And he was like, basically, offenses haven't adjusted back to those defenses.
I will say, even though you said that, I would say Bill Belichick also figured it out in the Super Bowl when he was like, "Oh, this guy talks
He
to this
said we're
guy's
running
ear."
through everybody. It was like, well, you weren't then.
You scored 3 points.
He scored 3 points against Bill Belichick's
biggest game
defense.
of all of your careers.
Todd Gurley was fucking hooping that year.
Right. All right. Anything else for this part?
No.
All right. Well, good luck to the Pacers. Good luck to the Thunder. I was more upset about a week ago thinking that because if SGA wins the finals and the finals MVP, he's probably going to pass Tatum in terms of rankings.
Well, MVP.
But Tatum's done that to himself. to be honest
MVP,
with you.
finals MVP, like all that has only been done by like, I don't know.
I also don't care about the regular season MVP award.
That's weird. Yeah, he shouldn't have won it.
It's closer than I mean, the guy won 70 games and was the best player.
But I'm
and
saying,
the highest
I mean,
scorer
the
in
fact
league.
that it's up for debate shows you how much the award fucking means.
I like that's the only thing I do like
didn't
about.
they play in the playoffs?
Because when Embiid won it over Jokic,
Went to Game 7.
And they won.
Well, I mean,
I mean,
they didn't win because SGA's better than fucking.
it wasn't a one-on-one game.
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying.
They might have won because Aaron Gordon was, for some reason, playing with a
The
torn
stat I
hamstring.
liked was, this is kind of how you should almost look at MVP. Like, you gotta be able to win some and be in the candidacy. But it was like the Nuggets plus minus with Jokic on, they're plus 11.
Right.
With him off, they're the worst team in the league, right behind the Wizards. Like
Yes.
they're like minus 19. So that's a 30-point differential with him on versus him off. And with SGA on, they're like the Thunder are like plus 19, and with him off, they're like plus 11.
Here's my thing about the MVP, too, is that all-time rankings, obviously this guy doesn't have any rings, but you'd be like, well, Russ has won MVP and so does Kobe.
I know.
It's like,
That's crazy to think.
and the thing about when Russ won it, what they gave him it as like a pity thing. It's like, so Kobe did deserve pity when he scored 35 fucking points
He
and
was
got
the
the team
sixth.
to the playoffs. Like,
I just think.
so that's why the MVP, just also too, the MVP award, even though this is like we said, like modern NBA, which I agree with, starts when Bird and Magic enter the league. Bill Russell won the MVP. That was voted on by the players. So he's the MVP of the league. He made second team All NBA because that was voted on by the media, who was all white. So I'm like, so if you're arguing all NBA teams, you go like, well, Bill Russell has a second team. It's like, well, because the writers are racist.
Yeah, it's
so
just, yeah.
I'm just saying, watch the game tonight, and if God forbid he doesn't shit the bed, even though I want the Pacers to win, that guy is showing up
He's showing up.
and showing out.
I didn't say he wasn't.
Scoring 30 each. I'm
Maybe
just saying.
Jokic
I was talking
Nikola
about the
Jokic
Tatum
ever
comparison.
not showed up.
I was talking about the Tatum
Yeah,
comparison.
I hear
when we
you.
went
Yeah, SGA showing
Jokic.
up.
But he's the best player on both teams, and he's probably been the best
Easily.
player in every series he's played in. So it's like, what am I supposed to say about the guy?
I don't hate the guy at all.
My problem is with the MVP whole situation. LeBron should have won probably every one from 2009 to 2018. So
Exactly.
That's why it's
Jokic should have won 6 in a row before.
probably.
So, and
But
they say that.
What was more? This was not nearly as egregious as the
Embiid.
Embiid.
No,
shot.
not at all.
Like SGA deserved to win the MVP.
If
He was
anything,
okay.
SGA should have won it last year.
I'm just saying he deserved. It wasn't.
How many guys
Embiid
deserve that?
Literally, Kendrick
Honestly?
Perkins said, if you vote for Jokic, if Jokic wins this year, this is a racist thing.
Yeah.
And then flipped after and said, "Wow, I sounded like such an idiot." And it's like, well, but you understand you're on the worldwide leader of sports, projecting that shit to the people. You can't fix
take it
that
back.
later. Right? You can't say, "Well, I was wrong." It's like
Pandora doesn't go back in the box.
that
comes out.
So that's my whole point.
But you know actually who should have won MVP? Giannis.
right?
for what
but with the SGA thing, it's like he didn't.
What's his plus fucking minus
he
off the
did
court,
not deserve
Giannis?
it.
They're probably +2 with him on and minus 438 with him.
So, I mean,
But the MVP thing, it's a whole. But I'm just, if you watch the NBA this year and they said Shai won it, you're not like, what? With Embiid, it was like he just scored the most.
Oh
points.
yeah, that was crazy.
That's what I'm saying.
and again, so now Embiid has the MVP. Jokic only has, what, 2 or 3 when he should have 4?
Should have 5 in my.
Should have
opinion.
5. So he should have
He should have won
5.
5
So
straight.
now in an all-time argument, you go,
Crazy.
well, Michael Jordan has 7 MVPs. Jokic
Depends-
only has 3. It's like,
But
okay,
if you're
that's why I don't
talking to a
count
guy
this
who
shit.
That's his main argument.
You should probably not even be talking.
No,
about
I can just say, okay, so did you watch? Yeah, I watched. It's like, okay, you actually watched it. You believe that year, and if he says yes, then like I'm arguing with the wrong guy.
Right.
That's my whole point. I can tell you last year, Josh Allen was value-wise, it was not a sham that he won the MVP. Lamar had better stats. He could have won the MVP.
It's just like
Joe Burrow carried a shit fucking team. He could have won MVP, but Josh Allen getting it wasn't like, what happened here?
Yeah.
If it goes to, I get what you're saying. Like those 3, it's like we talked about. in the
Again, though,
UFC
this guy
part.
said he wasn't voting for Aaron Rodgers for MVP because he didn't get the COVID vaccine.
Right, but that
can't exist.
That has to. There has to be someone. Right then, they should have said, "You're right. You're not going to vote for him because you're not going to vote for anybody."
Yeah,
But,
you're getting shot right now.
right. But other than that, I don't know when we'll see you next.
Statistically speaking, the vaccine causes more harm than COVID itself.
It sounds like it.
Yeah, well, I'm just telling you what I heard.
Well, I think like the percentage of people who actually were extremely affected by COVID compared to the vaccine, I would assume those numbers are higher from the vaccine.
Yep.
All right. Well, good luck. Maybe we'll do a
1 in 800 people see extreme adverse effects from the vaccine.
Let's do a show next after the draft
A vaccine. Show.
about NBA because I feel like that's when stuff's going to be happening.
I thought you were going to talk about vaccines.
But I will
If
say
we're gonna do that, we bring Chris on.
There was a
Giannis is not on the
vaccine
Bucks.
pulled in like 1975 because some sort of disease, a neuron thing, affected 1 in a million people. This wasn't pulled for affecting 1 in 800.
Do you know what date the draft is?
No.
By that time, you
July
say
14th.
over or under 2.5 trades.
Over.
I would probably say. I'm talking trades that aren't like Michael Porter Jr.'s brother got traded to fucking a Chinese
I'll go
president.
under.
I'm talking KD, Giannis, and the Celtics.
I'll say under.
KD, Giannis, and the Celtics. Though you're saying under 1.5.
Wow.
1.5.
The draft is the June 25th and 26th.
right.
that season ends
Sham
and
said
then
this
fuck.
morning by the draft or the draft time, like KD for sure is probably going to be gone.
Yeah.
I think at least 1 gets made, but I don't think
Yeah, KD. It's
3.
I don't. What about 2? Giannis or
2.
the Celtics? Okay.
I would be lean more towards 2 than 3.
All right. Well, we'll come back after that and we'll see what's the
One's
new
too easy.
See what the one's happening. Yeah. Well, we'll see what the new NBA looks like after the draft.